So hello everybody and welcome to the video. My name is Luke and today I'm going to be showing you guys the best star cards for every class in Star Wars Battlefront 2. As of my opinion, slightly. I've done my research, I've got my notes in front of me, and from what I can see and from what I know from experience with using these, I'm going to bring to you what I believe are the best star cards for each class. By the way, this doesn't include the Enforcers. It doesn't include any playable characters that require battle points. So this is just the 4 base classes being Assault, Heavy, Officer and Specialist. Everything else is excluded. If you want to see a video on those, then make sure to hit the like and make sure to tell me in the comment section below. And yeah, if you want to see that, I'll do it. And if you want to see one for heroes as well and villains, I'll do that as well. But anyway, let's get straight into this. So to start things off, we have got Toughen Up. Toughen Up is a star card which replaces the Scan Dart on the right hand side, which is the R1 ability for the Assault class, of course. Now what this does is it instantly regenerates the health of the player, and then it also means that the rate of increase, how fast your health then increases, is also sped up. As you upgrade this, of course, it then increases the recharge time from 30 seconds and 28 to 26 to 22. This card is just insane. Like, if you play Assault, you have to have this equipped, because if you don't, then you're mental, because this thing is just the best star card probably in the game, because it's such a good advantage. Moving on then, we have got the Improved Thermal Detonator. This is basically the normal thermal detonator which comes with the Assault class. However, it is improved to have a larger area of effect, so it has a larger area where it does damage, larger radius of damage output, and it has a shorter recharge time. As you can see, the blast radius goes from, I'm not sure what that's in, I think it's meters. I'm assuming that's meters, from 6 to 6.25 to 6.5 to 7 meters as like a blast radius in like a circle. Thermal Detonator improved. Why wouldn't you want this? This thing is great. It's a great star card. Moving on then, we have now got the KILLSTREAK Vanguard. I don't tend to use this very often, however I do know it's very good when in use. What this means is that it's the normal Vanguard, however you get an increased amount of time for every kill. So of course normally the Vanguard would have a set time of which it is in use before it would need recharging. However, this allows you to gain back your time when you get a kill. As you can see though, as you upgrade it, it increases from 25% to 35% to 45% to 55% when fully maxed out, which is just great because you can rack up the kills in close range with this. It genuinely is. The Vanguard is definitely a good ability. So being able to keep it going for longer it's definitely good to use. Right, moving on to our final ability card, which is the Acid Launcher. This thing is great for objective-based game modes or trying to hold a location. Of course, what it does is it just fires like a little cartridge, which then releases off an acidic gas. It's really good for objective game modes like Strike and Extraction, because, for instance, on Extraction, or if you're playing from an Imperial's perspective, and you need to stop the enemies from getting onto the crate, then you just chuck your acid down there, fire it towards it, and they can't get close enough to it without taking damage and dying. So it's really good for holding down locations, and like on Strike, if you're on the Death Star, once again from an Imperial point of view, to try and stop them from getting the Death Star battle plans, just chuck it down in a certain doorway. They can't get through there, so they've got to go to different directions. So then you can choke them out to other ways, or if they're actually trying to get to the objective, you chuck it down. They can't get onto the battle plans to pick it up. So yeah, definitely worth a use. And then now on to the last card for the Assault, which is the Bounty Hunter. Now, just a little word of warning, I do say the Bounty Hunter in every one of these classes because it's worth it. But yes, for the final card for the Assault, we have got Bounty Hunter. This means that you get an increased rate of battle points, which is great for when you want to use Enforcers or Heroes. Genuinely, I love this thing. I played a game yesterday. I had about 15 kills, about 10 assists, and I had like 15,000 battle points. It was great. It was really good. So this is definitely worth using. So on to the heavy class, starting things off then nicely with the Detonate Charge. This is brilliant. I love this thing. So the Detonate Charge, it's very similar to Han Solo's, by the way. So if you play Han Solo, then this is definitely going to be easy for you. So what you do is, it's literally just like a proximity charge or something. I can't think what it was called for Battlefront 1, but it's basically just that. So you chuck it out and you set it off. It's got a good blast radius, which of course, as you can see, increases as you upgrade it, and it does a ton of damage. Really good for getting kills. However, unlike Han Solo's, it doesn't go as far. So of course, Hans, you can proper just yeet it, but this, it doesn't really go far. I wish it would go a bit further because it is a bit underwhelming. However, it does go far enough for you to be able to get it around a corner, into a doorway, or into a corridor. So it's definitely worth using. I love this thing, so it's brilliant. And of course, as you upgrade it, the blast radius increases. But also, a slight difference to Hans, whilst they both instantly kill troopers, the Assault Detonate Charge does less damage to heroes and villains. So, yeah, that's something to watch out for. So now we've got the Supercharged Sentry. Now, I didn't really know about this till a couple days ago, but this is actually just insane. So it's very similar to the normal Sentry, however it's got a larger radius of effect. Now what this is it's pretty much the normal Sentry. It's got the same rate of fire as the normal Sentry and the same ability as a normal Sentry, however it's got an explosive sort of finish to it. So each bolt, it's sort of a mix between the normal Sentry and the explosive Sentry, as you can see. So it's got the explosiveness of the explosive Sentry, but then the rate of fire of the normal Sentry. So this is just like a perfect mix. However, the slight downsides to this is, of course, that it overheats faster than normal. It's still in use for longer than the mobile Sentry, because that thing runs out extremely fast, and I hate it. That's just the worst star card in the game. But the Supercharged Sentry, it's just insane. It's really, really good for getting kills, and it's really good for just getting enemies so low that you just either straight away rack up a bunch of kills afterwards, or you straight away rack up a ton of assists, which are just as good. Moving on then to the improved combat shield. Now, normally heavy comes with a shield, however, if you use stuff like, bear with a second, there we go, the Barrage, it then replaces the combat shield, which isn't the worst. The Barrage is good, and I'm moving on to that in a second. However, the improved combat shield is definitely worth it. It means that the shield takes more damage before it is destroyed. Of course, once you deploy this, it stays up deployed until you, well, redeploy it, till you put it back, till you pull it away, and then it, of course, has to recharge. However, whilst this is in use, you cannot aim down sights, and you cannot move as fast. This is actually really good, because, of course, if you deploy it and then go into a crouched position, you're pretty much impossible to hit. But of course, being able to have for it to take more damage, it's just a great advantage. Because of course, if you're trying to fight with somebody and they're doing more damage than you are, you're still probably going to come out on top, because your shield is going to take more of that damage, and they'll have enough to block it unless they have a shield that's just as good as yours. Then, moving on to yours truly, the Barrage. Now this, if you played Battlefront 1, you'll know what the Barrage is. Of course, this is a launcher which fires 3 grenades. However, it's different to Battlefront 1, where it would fire all 3 in one go. This fires them individually. So you could fire one, and then wait a second, and fire the next, wait a second, fire the next one, or you could fire the first 2, wait the next. You know what I'm getting at. This is really good. It's got good damage output, and it's got a good area of effect, and of course it's got really good range. Barrage is definitely worth using. I've only recently unequipped it so that I could equip the Supercharged Sentry. However, I'm definitely going to go back to using that very soon, because it's definitely really good. Of course, as you upgrade it, it increases the recharge time. So yeah, it's just barrages for days, I guess. Nigel barrages. For context, I do not support UKIP. That was just a joke. And then, of course, you've got the Bounty Hunter. As I explained before, of course, you get increased battle points. Now, here's the thing for you. If you're not fussed about getting increased battle points as the heavy class, it's definitely worth equipping Survivalist. This is just a necessity as a heavy class. Of course, as you have more HP than all the other classes, it also means that your recharge takes longer. So by equipping the Survivalist, why did I say special? The Survivalist trait card, you're still going to be taking the same amount of damage as normal, but it'll recharge even faster. And as you can see, when maxed out, you get 40% increase, which is, it's game changing, pretty much. This has saved my life in so many situations, and I can guarantee it will save yours as well. Moving on then to the officer, starting things off very nicely with the improved flash grenade. Now, of course, once again, the officer starts off with a normal flash grenade, but the improved one, definitely worth equipping. Basically, what this does is it increases the actual radius of effect, and it also increases the damage output slightly, I believe. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. I'm reading my notes and I didn't write something down because I am just dumb. Very dumb. But of course, I can't speak. It improves its blast radius. Oh yeah, it says right there. Why don't I just look up? I'm looking at my laptop and look up. It just says right there, damage output. Please send help. And then, of course, with the trigger action, of course, one of the main things with star cards is, of course, if you... why am I saying of course so much? If you trigger them before the normal detonation time, then they tend to do something. With the improved flash grenade, it means that it splits into more fragments, which then covers a larger area that has a little bit of damage drop off. So it splits off into more pieces, so it covers a larger area, but it doesn't quite do as much damage. So if you leave it to just blow up by itself, it'll smaller area but more damage. So gotta try and find a good balance between those two. Moving on then to the improved turret. The turret is already good, and it's already, once again, one of the things that the officer comes with straight away, but the improved turret is definitely worth equipping, because what this means is that the turret has improved health and a shorter recharge time, so of course once it is destroyed, you can place one back down even faster. Now, once again with the trigger action, what this does is actually, if you hold down R1, it self-destructs. So it effectively turns from a pew-pew turret, which is already insane anyway, so that if there's a group of enemies near it, or just a singular enemy, you can hold down R1, it will blow up like the thermal detonator, and kill, or at least severely injure, any enemies around it. So next up, we've got the improved battle commands. Now, I love this. I don't play officer, but when I do, this is definitely something you're going to want, because this is incredible. So what this means is, like the other battle commands, it has an effect on your teammates. This one being, well, I think actually the normal one, is increased health for your teammates. But the thing that makes the improved battle commands even better is not only does it have a bigger radius, but it also buffs yourself, which is just beautiful stuff. So now not only are you increasing your teammates' health, you're also increasing your own at the same time. So it's this is it's glorious. It's just glorious using. So next up, we've got the expert weapon handling. I don't really use this, but when I have, it's definitely shown its quality. So what this means is that your weapon overheats less, I guess. Well, no. What it means is, of course, when you fire your gun, above your health, you'll see that little bar that goes down. That's your weapon heat. And of course, once your weapon overheats, you have to wait for it to cool down. This, however, means that your weapon overheats at a slower rate. It just means your weapon's cooler, so you can fire for longer. That's pretty much it. It's definitely worth using though. And now, finally, we have got the specialist, the sniper class. Now, this marksman, the first star card, is crucial. Playing as a specialist class, you need this equipped. What this means is that if you defeat an enemy with a headshot, your weapon overheat. Your weapon heat is just reset instantly back to normal, so that you could keep firing for longer. Now, of course, when you're using snipers, the likelihood of you hitting headshots tends to be quite high, because of course there's no bullet drop in Battlefront 2. So if you aim for their head and they don't move out of the way, they don't dodge it, that is going straight at their dome. There's no way it'll miss. There's no way the bullet will drop and hit them in the body. If you aim for the head and they don't evade it, it's going straight through their dome. And of course, that'll reset your weapon, which then means that you can keep shooting for longer. This also, which is a very nice little touch, means that every time you hit the headshot, your weapon then overheats at a slower rate. So then not only does it mean a headshot then resets it, but then as you fire, it overheats at a slower rate until it overheats. Then the whole thing resets. So yeah, that's very good. This star card, special class, is just is key. It is key. So next up, we've got the improved shock grenade. Once again, the shock grenade comes basic with the specialist class. However, the improved shock grenade is definitely worth using. The shock grenade, of course, when it explodes, it has an area of effect which gradually does damage over time. However, the improved shock grenade, what this does is it increases the damage output, and I say increases damage output. What I mean is it increases the active time, so it does more damage overall. Yeah. Yeah, it increases the active time, so it does more damage in total. I am off my head, man. So now we have got the personal shield. Once again, this is just a necessity. If you choose the thermal binoculars over this, you are crazy. Well, I know where you come from. The thermal binoculars are definitely useful because, because you can see where all enemies are from like across the map, and it is very useful. But the personal shield, it just tops it. Of course, what this means is it creates a bubble around you, which prevents you from taking any damage except for melee. You can still get meleeed. As you upgrade it, though, the shield can take more damage. It doesn't have a charge time, so it doesn't just close. It doesn't go after a certain amount of time. It's just a set amount of damage unless you press R1 once again to remove it. It will stay up until it either takes enough damage and is destroyed, or you de-equip it. Of course, whilst you cannot take damage, you also can't give damage. You cannot shoot your weapon, but you can still melee, and enemies can still melee you, so you can still die. This doesn't make you invincible. And then finally, we've got Bounty Hunter. You should have been expecting that one. So hopefully you found this useful and you enjoyed it. That will be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And of course, if you want to see the star cards for heroes and villains or the enforcers, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. But that'll be it for me today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.